On today's show, we deep dive into the Twilight Zone interactive reboot, which seems pretty exciting, new Magic Leap information, which is also pretty exciting, and LED uniforms for flight attendants on EasyJet, which is slightly less exciting, but we're still going to talk about it anyway.
And Bryan Bishop stops by from the Film Vault and from the Adam Carolla Show to talk about movies. It's summertime. Get excited.
We also take a look at a guitar that is a cross between sort of a Guitar Hero guitar and a real-life guitar to help people learn to play. And also our Intuits, so you get into it. It's Tomorrow Daily. Greetings, citizens of the internet. Welcome to Tomorrow Daily, the best geek talk show in the known universe. I'm Ashley Esqueda.
And I'm Jeff Kanata.
It's Thursday.
Full of sadness.
I was going to say, your shirt is extremely timely because today we lost.
It's my shirt is, you can't see the tear stains, but
it's purple raining on your face.
Yeah, honestly, we'll talk about this more on the show, but it's really sad.
Tremendous loss in the music industry.
Yeah.
And just in life in general, as a just huge creative mind.
But we do have fun topics to get to, so let's do that.
Yeah. The number one thing that made me excite bikes this week was the Twilight Zone reboot.
Yeah, this idea of an interactive Twilight Zone where you'll actually get to make decisions along the way, and all of them lead to ironic, sad moments. a la Twilight Zone.
Ironic, weird endings. I really love, okay, so something that you said sort of triggered my gears, got my gears a-turning. You said, how are they gonna make this better than Black Mirror?
Right.
And I think this is the way to do it. You have to
make it
one up.
interactive?
Yeah, the interactive element is the thing that is going to differentiate the new Twilight Zone from something like Black Mirror, which can be really intense. Like Black Mirror is so dark. Like there's so many just super dark themes, and it never really, at least in the Twilight Zone, like there's moments of levity sometimes. Like,
yeah,
but generally speaking, like it's I would say equally tonally, it's very equal.
Yeah.
And so I am very curious to see how they tackle that, and also again how they differentiate themselves from Black Mirror, which, to be fair, Black Mirror tends to only focus on the dangers of technology as a future. Because the black mirror of your phone is what looks back at you, all that stuff.
Well, I'm sure that the fact that Ken Levine is involved, he worked on the BioShock games, and I'm certainly very tied in technologically. I think it's interesting because he is going to inform how interactive these narrative shows are and how that's all going to work. He talks about there being this sort of spectrum of interactivity, so it's not just binary choices all along, which I think is pretty interesting. But also, he is a guy who knows technology, so I think there will be an element of that modern life, And
I think he also has a really good eye for, if you've played the BioShock series, particularly Infinite, he has a really good mind for, not to spoil anything, but parallel universes, for optional happenings, like all these sort of alternate timeline sort of setups, and I think this is really well suited to his particular set of skills.
Well, those games kind of work like Twilight Zone episodes in themselves. You get to the end and it's like, it was you all along. Oh wow, crazy. That it works kind of like that structurally. So I think I'm very excited he's involved. I'm very excited we're going to get more Twilight Zone, because Twilight Zone is this part of our culture.
It's an institution.
Yeah. And
I get so excited about Twilight Zone. I love it.
Do you want it to be black and white, these new ones?
I kind of do.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's that there's a black and white element to it, either maybe flashbacks, but I really would love it to be in black and white.
That would be a bold choice.
It would be very bold. I would also love if Ken Levine came back and did an episode that was like an Easter egg for gamers, where it took place in a place like Rapture.
That'd be cool.
And then, but it was like, gamers would know, but the large viewing audience, it would work for a non-gamers. It would just be like, oh my God, they're in Rapture. Like, this is so exciting. But anybody else watching it who didn't know about BioShock would be like, this is so interesting. I find this so fascinating. I would love to see that. Be pretty excited.
Yeah, we'll be watching day one, that's for sure.
I will be watching.
Not just watching.
No, interacting. I'll be making the show happen. We got some really good feedback on this. Dustin wrote in and said, not sure how the new Twilight Zone will incorporate the interactive part, since most people nowadays don't watch live TV.
Well, I don't think it's going to be interactive on a large scale in the sense that the whole audience is deciding. It'll be you individually. This is something that isn't going to be delivered over television. It is going to be delivered over the internet. So it's going to be the kind of thing where you, in your viewing experience, get to make a choice that works for you, and somebody else might see a different outcome.
Yeah, and don't forget, right now we're seeing a huge revolution in television where TV is now apps.
Yeah.
Like, we're not seeing cable. Cable is sort of dying off as people cut the cord, but then we're seeing all those channels create apps. And I think if you are watching from an Apple TV, a Fire TV, a Roku, there's a million ways that you'd be able to interact with that story with your simple remote. So that's
so it is going to be delivered via the
apps.
internet, though. So
yeah, just like the Star Trek series is going to be exclusively like CBS, digital, like all this stuff. That's
the future. It's happening.
Let's all go to the future. And then also Natalie wrote in and said, Twilight Zone reboot, you had me at interactive. It sounds awesome to be able to control the story like in a game. We agree.
Yeah.
Great tweet.
I wonder if Natalie will want to play it multiple times, or play it, I say.
If they end up having multiple endings, I would absolutely watch episodes over and over again to see how, because in your Choose Your Own Adventure books, you like went and just read it straight through, front to back. I definitely didn't do that, but other people did.
I just would check to see if I died. I died.
Yeah, exactly. I'll go back. Yeah, you always have your finger in the page that you just left, just in case you die. You go, I'm going to just...
But with Twilight Zone, it's going to turn out bad either way. So
I know, it's never going to end well. It's never going to end well. You're all pig people, just FYI.
Exactly.
And then, so from Twilight Zone to something quite a bit more futuristic, even though interactive is pretty futuristic, Magic Leap. Wired's Kevin Kelly wrote an 8,500-word opus on Magic Leap after visiting the facility in Florida.
And it still wasn't enough for me.
No, it's not enough.
I want more info.
A lot of it, though, I would say about half of that article was a lot of, here's the history of the industry, here's my personal journey coming to VR, and this is how it sort of fits in with the context. So this is the video Wired put up about Magic Leap, and they have some extra things that they didn't have in the Magic Leap demo video that got released this week. So what they're showing, and the disclaimer I think is the most important part of this entire thing, where it's like shot directly through Magic Leap technology on April 8th, 2016. No special effects or compositing were used in the creation of this video. Now, let's discuss what that means, because
we don't know what that means.
Yeah, exactly. We don't know what that means because you can say this was shot directly through Magic Leap, but
how?
If it is, as Kevin Kelly was saying, a very comfortable device that was easy to put on and off like a pair of glasses, you would see some kind of frame, right? Because if it was shot directly through, you'd be using a camera like a DSLR with a lens, and then you would see
you assume that
what was happening.
Yeah, you assume that they're feeding that output into into a camera.
Directly into either a recording system, a Fraps, something that records whatever you're seeing on those screens.
Yeah.
There's also some fiber optic technology involved. They're saying like, we're sort of beaming things like right into your eyes.
The biggest bummer about this article is that there is no mention of when any kind of consumer product is even considered coming out.
They said that the Meta too, like they're saying all these other products that are similar, HoloLens, they'll all come out before Magic Leap comes out.
Which is a bummer because what you see it capable of really looks attractive to me. The idea of a fully infused mixed reality environment where you can have information fed to you all the time. You can add animation to your world wherever you look. You can fill out.
You can have a robot friend. Hang out by your desk.
Robot friend's pretty cool too.
An augmented robot friend.
It's easy to make the quote unquote leap in your mind to imagine that in a few short years we will all have.
So that's supposed to be the lens.
Right. But who knows?
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But what does it mean? It's like a double rainbow, Jeff. But what does it mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow, that's a meme we haven't talked about in a long time. But yes, so the idea, it's so easy to imagine that we will all we can abandon our screens and we'll all have information
in our
all
glasses.
The time fed to us about the things that we need. I'm ready for that future. I want that. I'm ready for that.
I just have to make sure I can get these lenses fitted in my real glasses. Because otherwise I'd be wearing two pairs of glasses.
And then we really are in that Black Mirror episode, speaking of Black Mirror, where they had just doing it with a contact lens, and you can constantly record
Futurama,
stuff.
The iPhone.
Causes problems
the
in
iPhone.
Black Mirror. Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that? That was a great Futurama episode. If you guys are curious, I highly recommend reading our very own Sean Hollister. Wrote a great write-up and said what we actually learned about Magic Leap.
Oh, what did we actually learn?
And he said,
Not much.
He says it's a lot like HoloLens. It has a narrow field of view like HoloLens.
Whammy.
Which I think is
Whammy. That's a whammy.
not like what we saw in that full screen video.
This is, I think, a huge issue both Microsoft and Magic League are doing because, well, they are misleading people. They're creating false expectations, and I think that is going to bite them in the behind.
I agree, because here's the thing: when you talk about VR to somebody, and then they try it, it's more than what they imagined. It's more than what you told them. And when I talk about HoloLens to people, and then they try it, like at E3 last year for the Halo thing, they were like, "That was cool. It was really cool, but."
Right.
It's not like it's so small,
because
such
what
a
you
little
see
window.
These videos give you the idea of it just inhabiting your world,
being completely seamless and inhabiting your world,
which it does, but only in a very small viewing.
But in a window, and that's not fair. It also, Sean says you can focus your eyes on objects close to you, unlike other headsets, which is very good. Comparatively comfortable to wear, and also it's not wireless. You will be at the very least tethered to a battery pack.
That's huge.
Yeah. So
that's potentially bad because HoloLens is purporting to be wireless, fully autonomous.
It's a full existing built-in, like everything is all in one. You don't have to worry about, which I think it's going to be so expensive. But yeah, I mean, there's just...
I'm ready for it, though. I mean, these are baby steps toward the future we want.
Listen, I want to try it. I'm excited to try it. I am looking forward to it. Someday I'll get to test it out. But until then, I mean, I feel like we have to we can be excited, cautiously optimistic. Cautious optimism feels like it's the name of the game. So yeah, cautious optimism. And
magic baby steps, not quite leap yet.
Magic baby steps. Not quite a big leap.
Yeah.
Very lastly, I just really briefly want to touch on the uniforms that EasyJet people are going to be wearing. So
are you ready to buy these?
I have to clarify. So this story actually broke unbeknownst to me back in November, and I think I was just so wrapped up in the holidays that I'd missed it somehow.
Right.
And we were also working on the new studio, so we completely missed this. But it's supposedly coming out later this year, and I'm so excited about this. I think every flight attendant should have these uniforms. Also, great visual indicators. You have people on the plane who don't speak English, maybe.
Right.
English either as a second language or not at all. They can point where all the exits are, all the lights, all that stuff. This is the future of customer service with people. Like, they're going to have great signs and stuff.
Make people billboards.
Yeah, make people billboards.
That's customer service.
And also equip them with phones that have Google Translate on them.
She's going to be like, the exits are up here, sir.
Yeah. I'm sorry, sir, but the exits are up here. My eyes and the exits are up here. Eyes and exits, guys. Eyes and exits.
I think this is cool. I think it is a gimmick. I don't know if I'm really ready to... See, I happen to love that moment.
I do too.
Anytime I'm on a flight, I love the like...
But now, no one is looking because they can use their phones.
Right.
So now no one's looking.
He's still doing the hand gestures.
But
so I'm in. As long as he still does the hand gestures, I'm in.
I love it. It's so
Look at
great.
how disconnected he is from what his hands are doing. That's my favorite thing about it, is the flight attendants are all like, they're in this place here, but their hands are doing something completely different.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know if it's the future, but it's a cool
Then
gimmick.
they wipe their tears away. Terrible. Super fun, though. And I would love to fly an airline with uniforms like that. So cool. And if you want to see more cool LED fashion, Cute Circuit all the way. I follow them. I've been following them for years. And they make some really futuristic stuff. And someday I would like to wear a couture, like, LED dress.
There you go.
At some point.
Just have to stay close to the plug.
Yeah. Well, I'll have a battery pack in my pocket, just like always.
Powering your
my magic dress and my leap. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back with New York Times bestselling author, friend of the show, former fill-in co-host.
Oh, fun.
Bryan Bishop is going to drop in and talk to us about movies,
Yeah.
which he's very good at talking about, so it should be really fun.
Stick around.
Stick around, guys. It's Tomorrow Daily. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Longtime viewers of Tomorrow Daily might recognize this face. He is a New York Times best-selling author, book Shrinkage. He is also an Adam Carolla sidekick.
And he is on the film podcast, Film Vault. We're excited to have Bryan Bishop with us. Bald Bryan, you may know.
Sure, yeah.
Thanks for using my full name. I appreciate that.
I'm very comforted to know having listened to you for a long time, that you are in fact bald. It's not just a trick of radio.
It's not just an act, everyone. It's not just a gimmick to get over on the public. No, this is the real deal.
It's the real deal. Not phony.
I lived that life.
You lived that
bald life.
Lived that bald life. Also, just for our viewers who might have missed you from our LA studio when we were
First of all, where were you?
I know.
Yeah,
sorry.
no kidding, right?
Congrats, you're having a baby this year.
Yeah, it's true. Yay! I am having a little baby girl. I'm very excited about it. Due around the same time as your little baby boy.
Our lives are changing.
I know. How about a play date soon?
Let's do it.
And maybe we'll invite the kids and the wives too.
Yeah. VR play date.
Are you as terrified as I am?
I'm not. It's a weird thing. I feel like we've been trying for a while, and it's sort of like a long time coming. So we're excited. We're more excited. I mean, yes, I'm nervous for obvious reasons, but overall, we're excited. How about you?
Well, I'm definitely excited, and it's a positive feeling. But I'm definitely like, I don't know if I'm prepared for the level of change that my life is going to go through.
Yeah.
So
when we turned our guest room into a baby room, started to turn the guest room into a nursery, is when I sort of shed my first tear. I'm like, oh, no more sleepovers from friends and parents.
Yeah.
No more sleeping bag parties, no more pillow fights with your guests. I congratulate both of you, and I am just gonna wait. So everybody else is just having babies, and I'm like, I'll just see how that goes for all of you, and then I'll think about it.
We'll send you reports.
I have 3 very adorable dogs.
But you're a very busy person for someone who's going to have a child.
You have lots of stuff going on.
Nah, I have a medium amount of stuff going on.
Okay. So let's talk about, first of all, Film Vault. Which you do with Anderson.
Yep.
You also do with producer Logan.
Producer Logan does we allow him to hang out.
You allow him to chill.
He's the brains behind the operation, which is terrifying.
Same here.
Terrifying.
Same. You guys have you guys have been doing a really good job. We wanted to talk about summer movies with you.
Okay.
Because it is summer movie season
now. We are on the precipice.
We're on the precipice.
Blockbusters, they are a coming.
They are a coming fast and furious.
I think the little known film Civil War, Captain America Civil War, will be kicking off film season.
I'm not quite sure what that obscure title is.
Know,
I wonder if we're going to hear much about that.
The marketing has been it's close to nothing.
They played it close to the vest.
Really close to the vest. I think they just want people to be surprised about it. Maybe get some word of mouth out there.
Hey, Marvel, you might have a hit on your hands. Let people know about it.
Maybe, yeah. But it's a really big summer for movies. We thought last year would be a big summer, and it's turning out now. I think we're just going to start seeing these insane tentpoles every single year, just packed in to a very tight 5-month schedule.
Right. I hate the people who are too cool for school and hate on everything and are hipsters about it, but I feel like this may be, we'll see. This might be the summer of sequels and remakes and reboots that nobody asked for. I don't know where another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fits into my life. The first one was a little too much.
Well, you're not 10.
I was 10 when it first came out, thus I must have nostalgia for it. I was 10 when the Transformers came out, and I'm dying for every Transformer movie that can. Give me more G.I. Joe, please. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, not so much.
Not so much?
My nephew's excited.
Is he?
I'll tell you that. He's 10.
Enough.
Okay, maybe I'll see him. Maybe I'll see him there when I
maybe you will.
go to see it.
You're like, hey kid, are you excited about this? He's like, yes! And you're like, me. Like you just kind of take all the joy out of his life. Okay. Don't sit next to any 10-year-old.
Okay, I won't bring him down. Are we allowed to talk about the fact that you saw Civil War? Is that?
Yeah, we can actually. There's no
we
embargo
can talk about it. There's no embargo.
We don't want to spoil anything for you, though.
No, don't spoil anything. Just tell me what you thought. Give me your impressions. Give me your expectations.
I will act out my impressions in a dance that I've been working on.
An interpretive dance,
goes like
please.
This.
For me, it was more like.
Yeah.
It was such a
you've both seen it.
Huge. Yeah, I saw it. I went to the premiere, and it was really fun.
It's a bit of a humble brag.
It is. It's not a humble brag.
She noticed how she just dropped that in.
It's a brag, guys. I got to go to the premiere of Civil War. I sat like right down the row from Nathan Fillion, and that is also a brag. And it was great. The theater was packed full of people who are just really excited to see the movie, which I'm sure will be the case with you guys when you go see it. It was great.
Are you on the Marvel train? Are you excited about the Marvel slate?
I'm excited about good movies, so I will give any good movie the proper respect it deserves. I feel like the beginning of this year has been really helpful because now we have a very effective scale for rating. We have the Deadpool to Batman v Superman scale. So I want to know where in the Deadpool to Batman v Superman scale does Civil War fall? Is it? It's almost at the top.
Yeah.
All right.
I would even
Deadpool's
say
pretty great.
Maybe it's because Deadpool's more of a personal, individual film. But if you really look at, I don't know, it could be.
But quality is quality.
I would say right there.
Wow.
Equal.
There's a certain character that shows up that I'm not even gonna lie. I shed a tear when that character showed up. The way that character is.
Oh, all right.
It's just wonderful.
Because
It's so good.
they kind of blow it in the trailer. At least one of the trailers I saw where Spider-Man shows up. Is that what you're talking about?
No.
Okay. All right.
Maybe that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
If it's in the trailer, it's not a secret.
Right. Well, but okay. I'm just trying to be
that particular
kind
element.
to the people who are voting spoilers.
But the way they set it up, which you don't see in the trailers, makes it even better when he does show up in that moment.
Okay.
Right. The way he's handled through the whole movie is so great.
And that kid is Spider-Man. There's never been a better Spider-Man.
Really?
100%. Never
It's
been
the best Spider-Man movie.
Tobey Maguire.
The best
can't
Spider-Man
suck
movie
it.
of all time is called Captain America.
It is. No, thus
War,
far,
wow.
the best Spider-Man movie is Civil War.
But now people are like, I'm angry about you
I
guys
know,
talking
I'm
about this
enraged.
thing. Let's talk about more of the movies you're excited about.
Yeah. What are you excited about this summer?
Christ.
What should you see?
I'm cautiously optimistic for this Ghostbusters reboot. I
Me
want
too.
so badly to want to like it, and
Yeah.
I'm a fan of most, if not all, of the principal people involved. Paul Feig generally does not make bad movies. Spy, did you guys see Spy?
I did.
So Spy
good.
should have been a very bad movie. Spy looked bad in the trailers.
The trailer was terrible.
And it didn't have a lot going for it, but then I saw the movie, and it was very, very good. And I was like, this
so
is
funny.
a good filmmaker who is in charge, in mastery of his craft. Like, he is doing good
Sure.
things with maybe even limited resources. Resources being the material.
Right.
Spy was great. Bridesmaids, of course, was great. The Heat, I thought was very good.
Also, all terrible trailers.
Yes.
I would say all awful trailers. So I have
point.
hope about
That's interesting.
Ghostbusters because they were
Okay.
all awful trailers. When I saw the trailer for Bridesmaids, I'm like, this movie looks so dumb. And then I saw it and said, what happened? This is a great movie.
Right.
Like, why did the trailer turn me off to this? I feel so sad that I waited so long to see it.
I had a similar reaction to the trailer for The Heat, which was, I know where this is going. It's a buddy film, and she's uptight, and she's crazy, and they become friends. But it was so much more than that. It was such a better movie, and that's a sign of a director who's really, like, at the top of his game.
Speaking of directors who are at the top of their game, what do you think about 4 more Avatar movies?
Yeah, let's discuss.
All right, well, okay. There's
wait. Before you start, what do you think of the first Avatar movie? Because I think that's going to actually inform the rest of the conversation.
Avatar was aight. Like, Avatar wasn't terrible. You cannot say Avatar was a bad movie.
Sure.
However, you cannot say Avatar was a great movie. It's aight. It was a B- maybe.
I loved it. I saw it
think-
6 times in the theater.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I love
I think when you bring in the word unobtainium from a writing perspective, I get very upset.
I agree with that.
But I will say it was very beautiful, and I liked the message, the story, so it was very nice. And I will see future Avatar movies.
As will I. Listen, you bring it back to, you started this whole thing off with the director. How many bad movies has James Cameron made?
Zero bad movies. He doesn't know how. He doesn't know how to make a bad movie.
He is by any reasonable definition, he is a masterful filmmaker. He makes between good and great films. So, Avatar...
No, by your definition, he makes between and great
Okay,
films.
fine. Avatar was above average. I will say it's above average. Yeah, I cannot call it a
that's
bad
fair.
movie.
I also think the fact that he is challenging himself to this level when he doesn't have anything to prove. He doesn't have to do that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to
That's
make
true.
4
He could
movies at
coast.
one time.
He could go George
could
Lucas
coast.
on us and just
He could
mail
just
it
never
in.
But he's
he
not.
could never make another movie as long as he lives, and he would be fine.
But making 4 movies at once is Herculean.
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think that shows how much he cares about this property.
That said, I don't know if I'm to, of all of the James Cameron properties, I don't know if Avatar is the one that I want to see a lot more of. Like, I need more True Lies in my life. I need
Right.
more The Abyss. Like, I need movies
The
that
Abyss.
sort of, never had that life beyond, we have Alien movies and we have Terminator movies, and they've
Right.
gone in different directions, mostly down. But I need to see more of other stories. That said, James Cameron, good movie maker, good storyteller. I'll see another Avatar movie.
Fair enough. So I'm really curious about Suicide Squad. So I want to discuss the DC universe here because I think there have been a lot of rumors. If you have not been paying attention, Suicide Squad went into reshoots.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly there were 3 weeks of reshoots because
That's not uncommon.
that's a whole movie in some
not
cases.
uncommon, though.
3 weeks?
There are
That's a lot.
movies that is typically a bad sign, but there are movies that have done well and even thrived because of the reshoots. And one that comes to mind is Anchorman. Anchorman had a whole nother subplot about someone got abducted, or they abducted an animal from the zoo, or there was some weird thing where it just didn't work. They reshot the whole thing. I mean, literally a third of the movie, and that was the part about the panda giving birth and all that
Sure,
stuff.
yeah.
Ended up being a much better movie. So they realized that this part wasn't working. They went around and fixed it. So do not throw the baby out with the bathwater with the reshoot part of it.
Do not
That
throw
said,
the Harley out
with the
Fair
Queen.
enough.
Yeah.
So what do you think of what you've seen thus far?
That's another one where I'm cautiously optimistic. That's one more where I'm I'm guardedly optimistic. Like, I want so bad to love this movie, and I want it to be good, and I want it to be the superhero movie that we all need, a la Deadpool, but I'm also terrified that it might fall on its face and fall victim to the pressure to be funny, or exactly, the pressure to do what Batman v Superman didn't do, which was just be so self-serious and so
grim.
It's been beaten to death.
Gritty, grimdark. Instead of hungry, hungry hippos, that's what I refer to as gritty, grimdark.
The most depressing toy you can get for your kid.
That's very true.
Gritty,
Scowling Batman. Although, I mean, we've talked about it. I thought Ben Affleck was great as Batman.
I'm
the most skeptical about that character, and that was the one that I walked away the most impressed with.
I stand alone on an island as not liking Ben Affleck in that movie. I thought he was one of the worst parts of the movie.
Really?
But you're with everyone else. Everyone else said, Ben Affleck was the best part of the movie.
Who's your favorite Batman?
Wow.
Well, wait.
Adam West.
We're separating Bruce Wayne and Batman because I'm going to ask you next who is the best Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Can't separate, they're the same.
No.
It's such an obvious answer. It has to be Christian Bale. He brought such
Keaton, baby!
Michael Keaton was a great Bruce Wayne, I think, and but Christian Bale is so great, and he brought a physicality to the role, whereas Michael Keaton never really. He's a little smaller guy, and I never really bought him beating up and threatening and blah blah. Whereas the part where Christian Bale brings a physicality to the role, and you buy him as the Dark Knight, the guy who terrorizes and terrifies villains and criminals. You buy that because he's an intimidating figure.
Do you buy it though? On top of the fact that you've seen Christian Bale in American Psycho, and so there's like that duality to his, that you've already seen it.
I can't separate.
He's bringing full Bale to the role.
You're bringing Bale baggage.
Legacy.
You're bringing Bale baggage into because that's what it felt like. Why we liked it so much was because we saw him play American Psycho, and it was just like that guy could be Bruce Wayne, right? Like not quite a serial killer. If he was just a vigilante instead of a serial killer, like you'd buy it.
His Bale Baggins.
I'm predisposed to loving almost everything Christian Bale does because of American Psycho. So
Fair enough.
It didn't hurt, but you know what? Credit to the producers for finding that guy who was so great as that thing and making him a slightly different version of that thing.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
I don't think I could possibly narrow it down, although American Psycho is probably in that top 25 range. I was just thinking about, totally random, but I was thinking about how rare it is to see a movie now, like a current movie, and you're like, that's one of the all-time greats, and that is now in my top 20 or 25.
Sure.
I saw Whiplash, last year or a year and a half ago now, and that is in my top 25 all time. And you're thinking top 25? That's not that. It's all kind of a lot of. No, that's not that many movies. That's a very small list.
Small list.
If you've seen a lot of movies,
right?
Yeah, which you do.
Well, I've seen a fair amount of movies.
I think that's because we formulate sort of who we are and what we love at an earlier age, and it's harder to hold current stuff up to the things that formed your love of cinema.
Yes, you have a nostalgic crystallization in your mind. Movies that you loved as a teenager, a young man. Woman, whatever it is.
What was your favorite movie last year?
Favorite movie last year? The Big Short was my favorite of the big Oscar movies. I was kind of hoping that would win. I love the storytelling. I love the way it took a very. I held it in stark contrast to Spotlight in that they both took very serious, semi-recent, true historical subjects, and one was a Batman v Superman style slog to the end where nothing surprising happened and nothing fun or joy. Granted, it's a very heavy subject.
Why do they bring fun to the
that seems very difficult.
But The Big Short was also about very serious, heavy stuff where people lost their jobs and
but
people lost their lives.
But you can bring in moments of levity.
They told the story in such a unique, interesting way, and almost there was a joy of filmmaking. I'm not talking about like the fun ha. It was like you could tell there was bursting at the seams with ideas.
We're excited about what we're making right now.
And they could have done different things with Spotlight, and thus A Big Short was my favorite of the Oscar movies. And just to answer your first question, my favorite movie last year was Sicario. Sicario was brilliant.
Such a good movie.
Was brilliant. I loved it.
I would agree with you that Big Short brought a novel approach to conveying the information. I just didn't think it worked. I didn't think that, because I didn't come away from, especially those bits where they stepped out and spoke to the camera, and I didn't come away understanding the concept. Like the gambling scene, which was, I think, a really brilliant way to convey that idea. I still went, wait a minute, I don't understand what this scene is actually trying to tell me.
Interesting.
So,
how much gambling do you do?
A fair amount.
Okay.
He has a problem.
I'm trying to figure out what the problem is.
No, but I understood the metaphor. I understood how it worked in the context of a crap game. I just didn't understand how that related to
the real world.
To the shorting.
Fair enough.
Stocks.
We're going to have this is going to be a much longer discussion because we all love movies. So we have to wrap everything up. But
I'll be back tomorrow.
That's right, you're back tomorrow.
And we'll finish this.
We don't have a show tomorrow, but you can come back anyway and talk to us.
I'll be here. Turn the cameras on.
Just turn the cameras on. Last question. What is the movie you think everybody should see that they have not seen of all time?
Of all time? Oh,
What's
wow.
the movie
That's a tough question.
that people should absolutely see that they probably have not
I'm
seen?
not sure I could even answer
Holy
that.
smokes.
I'd say Shakes the Clown.
Interesting.
She's got that just in the hip pocket, ready to pull
I
out.
didn't see that.
No, my
coming.
husband gave me that, showed me that movie years and years ago, and I'm like, all right. Or I would say Death to Smoochie is another movie. It's terrible, but I love it.
I didn't see those coming. And when people ask me my favorite comedy of all time, I will often give the answer of Groundhog Day. It is really that brilliant. I feel like a lot of the viewers of the show probably have seen that movie.
Maybe we have some young viewers, though. It's viewers who maybe
if you haven't seen Groundhog Day, it is transcendentally
Masterclass.
Brilliant. Yeah, it is a
comedy.
brilliant comedy. If you have seen that and you're like, oh, how about a different movie? Viewers of the Film Vault will probably laugh at this because I bring it up. I used to bring it up all the time. Haven't brought it up in a while. But have you guys seen the original Manchurian Candidate?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It is a
Great film.
brilliant movie.
Yeah,
It holds up.
Redford's in that, right?
No, you're thinking of, no, that is Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra is the lead in The Manchurian Candidate. And
it's
Angela
brilliant.
Lansbury and Frank Sinatra and Lawrence
Good old
Harvey.
Angela Lansbury.
It is a brilliant movie. Holds up for a movie from 1962 or whatever it was. It was de facto banned for many years because it was right before Kennedy got assassinated, about a presidential assassination attempt. Kennedy gets assassinated, the movie's buried for decades, and finally came around in the late 80s and has not been seen by enough people. The black and white part turns off a lot of people, I think, especially younger viewers.
Just do it.
But man, oh man, it'll grip you.
And bonus.
And don't watch the remake.
If you watch it before you watch Civil War, you'll get a reference in Civil War.
It's true.
Wow.
You will.
Okay.
There is a Manchurian Candidate reference in Civil War. That is all the time we have. You can read Brian's book, Shrinkage, New York Times bestseller. It's on the list.
Yeah, join the rest of the world.
Yeah, join.
You're the only one who hasn't read it yet.
You haven't read it yet, so you should read that. And then you can also check out the Film Vault, and then you can find him at Bald Brian, right?
On Twitter, Bald Brian, The Adam Carolla Show on iTunes, as well as the Film Vault. Enjoy.
Well,
Thanks for
thank you
being
so
here.
much.
Thanks for having me, you guys. I'll come back and talk movies anytime. Sounds
Yes, we'll be right back with Back at Her Hackett and our Into It. Welcome back to the show. He's delightful.
Oh, yeah. What a cool guy.
He's one of the best.
Yeah.
Really. We have got to talk about this amazing guitar. So I think without further ado, let's hit Back at Her Hackett. I'm going to call this the My Guitar. It's M-I guitar. Okay?
I'm sure it's how you're supposed to. I'm sure that's
My
how you're
guitar.
supposed to
M-I.
pronounce it. Me
M-I.
guitar? Me guitar!
Me Guitar. By
Eugene.
Magic Instruments is the name of the
There
company.
you
So it's
go.
like the Magic Instruments guitar, M-I guitar. So
What
I'm
makes it
making M-I
magic,
guitar.
Ashley?
Okay, so here's how it works. It's a guitar. You can see there are no actual frets. This is a fretless guitar, and those are buttons.
Buttons?
They're just buttons.
Didn't they make a controller like that for a video game at one point?
I believe Rocksmith. Rock Band,
Yeah,
was it Guitar
one of
Smith?
the
I forget what it's called.
one of the
Rocksmith? I think it is, yeah. It's like, I think it's Rocksmith. I remember seeing this, but it's not quite this.
Right.
So this is, so Rocksmith really briefly is, the guitar is like a real guitar and it's got actual frets. This is more like a computer that is the shape of a car. You'll notice it doesn't have a head.
Yeah.
Notice it doesn't have.
You don't have to tune anything.
Yeah, you don't have to tune anything. So, so what this does is you hit everything. It'll teach you how to play. This to me is very strange and also very fascinating. So they reinvented the fretboard. They said, we just want to make it buttons. Like I said, this is a computer. Imagine just a computer that's in the shape of a guitar.
I wish all computers were in the shape of a guitar.
I know, right? Matt Bellamy, who is the lead singer of Muse, says, this is a quote from their Indiegogo campaign, for people who don't have the time to learn the guitar, Magic Instruments is the ultimate shortcut. You'll be strumming your favorite songs in minutes. For singers and non-guitar playing musicians, it's also a great tool for songwriting.
I am someone who actually plays the guitar.
Okay.
And I'm not sold on this idea.
Well,
First
it
of
says
all,
this is for everyone who wishes they could pick up and play guitar, which would be me.
Fair enough. Maybe I'm not the target audience. I will say, though, the thing you'll miss is not getting calloused fingertips.
Right. That's an important
key
thing.
part of learning the guitar. Believe you me. You
Oh,
got to
I
get
know.
those calluses, or else you'll
bleed.
You'll put down your me guitar and pick up a real guitar, and you'll be like, "Why does it hurt so much?"
Exactly. Well, that's
No,
why I
the
think a lot of
pain
people.
is called learning.
But a lot of people recommend that you learn on an electric first, just to so that you can
That's
get
not me.
used to pushing down the strings and then move to an acoustic where you have to push down harder.
I learned on nylon strings before steel strings, so I had a little training wheels.
Okay.
But yeah, I started on acoustic nylon, and then I moved to acoustic steel, and I earned it.
You
I
earned those
it.
calluses. You
Yeah.
earned those calluses. So they're saying that you can start strumming chords that normally would take you like a few weeks to practice, and it'll show you exactly what you need to do, and you can learn how to play good.
Anything that gets people learning music and instruments in general, I'm in favor of. So I'm not going to poo-poo this all completely. But I will say this: 90% of the reason I learned to play the guitar was for girls. This thing does not make you look cool.
No,
It does not make you look cool. Now, if you learn on it and then you transition to a real guitar,
see,
now
here's-
you're cool.
I think the real important thing is what Matt Bellamy said, which is this is a great songwriter tool. If you don't want to just sit down, like if you want to just not mess around with tuning a guitar, but if you have an idea in your head and you're like, I got to get this down, I want to hear it out loud, you pick this thing up and you play it. But here's, you want to know
skeptical.
Do you want to know what the price is?
Oh boy, it's not
Do
cheap.
you want to guess?
I'm gonna guess $700.
Oh, it's so much cheaper than that.
Oh, good.
Okay, so the first early bird's already sold out, but the second one is still up, early bird 2, and it's $319.
Oh,
$319 US dollars.
that's a lot cheaper than most guitars.
Honestly, I thought it would be closer to like $500 or $600.
Yeah.
Listen, if I was a musician,
Right.
I would probably invest in this to have it for songwriting and then also I like the idea of saying like, well, all I know is to play the guitar. Maybe I don't know how to play the piano.
Right.
And this is a way you could actually, you know how on some Casio pianos you can change it to sound like other instruments.
Oh, does this thing do that?
I'm sure they will either, if it's not already baked into this, then it's on its way.
I play like this and a trumpet comes out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if you only know how to play guitar and you want to mix something, like maybe this would be a way to do it.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. So
Now I
for
can finally
$319, it seems like maybe it might be worth the investment if you're a musician.
It's cheap to live my trumpeteer dreams.
It's fair. All right. Will you please write our new theme song? We need it.
I just did, I think.
I think that's pretty great. I'm going to make that my new ringtone. All right, guys. It is Thursday, which means we get to talk about the things we are excited about or the things we are into. So this is appropriately called Into It.
What you into, Ashley?
Well, Jeff. Is your full name Jeffrey?
It is.
Oh, well, Jeffrey. My full name's Ashley, so you already got that done.
Ashley Lee?
Ashley, yeah. I am into Game of Thrones.
Oh, me too, me too.
It's finally back. It's here. My body's ready. My mind is willing.
Is it happening?
Can I complain a little bit though?
Please.
Okay. I really hate how the whole marketing campaign of this season has been, is Jon Snow dead? Because one, like nobody really knows. And two, the other thing is I think that it would, sadly, I think that it would be better if they left him dead, because it would to me it feels more true to the story because obviously Westeros is an extremely brutal place. But I get that somebody needs to tell the story from the North. Like, so we have to have a hero in the North. But Bran is up there, so I don't know. Who knows?
I would just like to say that I think you're assuming that everybody that's watching a show is caught up. And
Well,
I
guess what,
apologize
guys?
to anybody that just
You've had a whole year to catch up. You've had a whole year.
ripped into the present.
You've had a whole year and the books. So
Well, here's the thing for me,
I have
Ashley.
nothing for you.
As a reader, I am very, very out of my element because this is the first time.
First time they're not doing.
First time that I'm going to be in uncharted waters that I haven't read about beforehand.
This is now ahead of the books.
I don't know
ahead of the books.
I don't know what's going to be happening. I feel strange and it won't recall things that I've already experienced. I don't know what to do. It's going to be weird watching the show and just not knowing where it's headed.
But also, trolls who have been spoiling the show up to this point, they're done now.
SOL. Can't
No
do
more
it.
of that. No more of that.
It's a good.
But I don't know.
It's a strange place. I don't know if when the
The
book
Bro
comes out.
King of the North is my favorite. What is he? The Winter King or what? The Night King. He's my favorite. Where he's like, "Come at me, bro!" Like he's got all his ice zombies.
He's pretty cool.
It's pretty great. I am rooting for the White Walkers in Game of Thrones.
Team White Walker.
I'm Team White Walker. I was like, hey, can I just I hate almost everybody in Game of Thrones. Like, I love to hate them, so I'm just like, I kind of, honestly, in Westeros, I'm kind of leaning toward the White Walkers
Really?
and just take out King's Landing and just get rid of all the Lannisters.
I mean, I
and
feel like
Ramsay Bolton, like, just get rid of all of them. Like, it's fine. And then Khaleesi can come over.
Right.
And with the dragon, and just the dragon burns them all down because they're like little snowmen. They're like little snowmen.
I mean, it's called a Song of Ice and Fire, right? So
Right.
I think ice is going to happen, and then fire is going to, and that's where we're headed.
But I would like for the White Walkers to destroy most of
take it all out, burn it all down.
The kingdom.
All right.
Most of the kingdom. They just nice cleansing by ice zombie.
Ashley
going
for the scorched earth plan.
Sorry, you know what, guys? A lot of people have done a lot of terrible things in Westeros.
You're not wrong.
And now the Pipers
must all pay.
They must all pay, and the Piper has come.
But then you're going to get undead Cersei and undead
I mean,
Tyrion
I feel like yes, that's a bonus.
All right,
that's not a negative. that's not a bad thing. All right. So from the lofty comedy ideals of me wanting to burn down and destroy all of Westeros in Game of Thrones.
Bring it down a notch.
We're gonna bring it down.
So my Intuit isn't just an Intuit that I've been into this week. It's an Intuit that I've been into my entire life. And I'm sure you've all heard by now that Prince Rogers Nelson passed away today. There is no artist of any kind that has meant more to me in my life. He's my favorite musician, anybody says, what's your favorite band? What's your favorite musician? It's always Prince. I've seen him 12 times in concert. I own every album of his. And I think a lot of people only know Prince from Purple Rain.
Or the 90s.
The
Crazy.
late, all that stuff. His modern work, I mean, he has 2 albums that just came out in the last 8 months. Called Hit and Run Phase 1 and Hit and Run Phase 2, and they are incredible. Highly recommend you check them out. Hit and Run Phase 1 and Phase 2. They're very different albums. The first one is a very electronic dance album. Mm-hmm. Second one is all horns and brass section.
Oh, wow.
Kind of like my me guitar.
Just like your trumpet. Oh, boy.
No, Prince doesn't sound like that.
No.
This is, by the way, we're watching the video for maybe my favorite Prince song. This is Cream from the Diamonds and Pearls album. Amazing album. There are so many amazing albums that are beyond what most people associate with him. I highly recommend you checking out Crystal Ball or Raven to the Joy Fantastic or Artificial Age, which just came out a few years ago. There's so many incredible albums. He's one of the most prolific musicians of all time, a true master of every device. He's the world's greatest guitar player, and sadly we've lost him.
Yeah, but not just the guitar player.
Yeah.
Played just about every instrument he touched. He was brilliant at.
Complete master of his craft. He invented a language. I mean, and it was consistent through his entire career. Like if you ever said I, it was a picture of an I. If you ever used you, it was the letter U. I mean, I loved that he created this sort of universe, and there's not anything like him in any. Yeah.
The closest you could get would be a David Bowie or a Freddie Mercury, and they were truly these iconic legends that you are irreplaceable. They're irreplaceable. You will never see their like again. You might see somebody who is very confident in their own skin, somebody who is an individual and very unique, and is unique. But you will never see Prince again. And that is so special, and we're all so lucky and fortunate to have lived in the same time as his music. It would be like being alive during Beethoven's time, where you would be able to see Beethoven perform live. I mean, what an incredible fortune it is to have been able to see. You saw him 12 times, that's amazing.
I'm very glad. I wish it could have been double that, though. I mean, his live performances were unlike anything else. If you have a chance, maybe go back and watch his Super Bowl halftime show. I think it's the greatest of all time.
In the pouring rain, he performed, and it was just so brilliant. It was so good. It's on the NFL's YouTube channel. You can actually go watch that. Prince was very protective of his content, and had a lot of takedown notices and stuff. So you won't find a whole lot of things on YouTube, but you can go watch that NFL performance, and I assure you, you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, and really the reason I brought it up is just I hope people maybe take this opportunity to explore some of his later work that is so good.
I think that's the thing a lot of people don't realize is he was putting out albums 1 or 2 a year. I mean, like
and
some artists,
really,
once every 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, Prince would literally,
so
he has a library of music I'm sure we've never heard that will be released. I mean, posthumously, we're going to have so many Prince records that I'm sure he finished and just, you know.
But it's so sad because he was such a man of his time too. Like his most recent album, there's a song called Baltimore, which is about the police unrest that happened there. And he, you know, Sign of the Times is an old song that was about the AIDS crisis. I mean, we're not going to have his voice moving forward. Maybe we'll have all this unreleased music that comes out, and that'll be great. But it won't be a commentary. Loss. It is I am so devastated by it. It's really sad.
Well, I think rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Check out his stuff. You will not be disappointed.
If you only know Prince from 1999 and
Purple Rain.
And When
those are great albums. Those are amazing albums. But
dig a little deeper. Yeah. Deep dive. Today's a deep dive episode. You got to deep dive into Prince's catalog if you can. Ask your parents if you're young. I'm sure they have a couple Prince albums laying around somewhere, either on their phones or on actual vinyl. Maybe even a cassette tape or a CD. All right. So that being said, we will miss Prince. And again, check out his music, and let's finish out the show with our photographer for the day. All right, so here's our photographer for the day today.
Yes.
From Jim.
Jim.
Good old Jim.
Oh, my hometown.
Is it?
Well, kind of. I lived in the suburbs, but
Fair
I'm
enough.
a Bay Area boy.
LA's my hometown, and I grew up out in the desert. So Jim writes to us and says, "Hey, Ashley and Jeff, here's my favorite picture of my favorite place in the world. I got this shot of the beautiful Golden Gate Bridge last year while I was living in the Bay Area. I took this with my iPhone 6 Plus. I've since moved away, and I've missed San Francisco every day since. Just looking at this photo makes me smile. Love the show and all the dad jokes you two make. You have my permission to use this photo. I do my best to be a good human every day.
Oh,
Sincerely, Jim.
Jim, you are our people. You are our. That's great.
You're our heart.
You are.
You're the heart and soul of the show, really. It's not us.
I love this picture. It looks like a postcard.
It does look like a postcard.
Well
it's
shot, Jim.
Gorgeous. I feel like I'm watching the intro to Full House. Like, I feel like we should see the Full House logo come show up, and it's like really nice. But yeah, that's a great, great shot of the city.
Hey, if you want to be like Jim, you can be our photographer of the day and submit your photography to us. All you got to do is send it to tomorrow@cnet.com.
Yes, make sure you tell us what device you took it on. Tell us how to pronounce your name if it's particularly or even remotely difficult by looking at it. Also, give us permission to use it on the show. And of course, tell us a little story about it. Jim stuck to our theme this month, which is coming to a close.
Oh yeah, because the month is ending, but it's been a really fun month of monuments and places of interest.
Yes, so send us in your landmarks, your beautiful pictures of famous or not so famous places you visited. We saw some churches, some rock churches.
Do you know what the theme for next month is going to be yet?
Nope.
All right, well,
haven't
we
decided.
gotta get on that.
I don't know. Yeah, I'll think about it. You guys send in your suggestions. Hashtag HeyTD, as always. Find us on social media. We're Tomorrow Daily all over the internet. I'm Ashley Esqueda. Jeff said, Jeff Canada. It's not hard, you guys. It's not hard.
And we can make it hard.
We could come up with weird names, weird handles online. Also, share the show with a friend tomorrow at tomorrowdaily.com. That's where we're at. And thanks again to Bryan Bishop for stopping by and talking about summer movies with us. I think now we have to have an off-mic conversation about Civil War because producer Logan hasn't seen it yet and we're dying. So you guys have a great weekend. We'll be back on Monday with a brand new docket of weird, wonderful science fact meeting science fiction. But until then,
be good humans.
See you guys next time.
Welcome to the dawn.
Bye, guys.